It was supposed to be a quiet weekend getaway. My family cabin, tucked away by the lake, had always been my escape from the chaos of the city. No internet, no noise, just peace. I hadn't been up there in almost 3 months, and no one in the HOA even knew I was coming back early this time. I thought I'd surprise my wife with a relaxing weekend. But instead, I was the one who got surprised. As I pulled up the gravel driveway, I noticed something strange right away. The curtains were open, the lights were on, and there were voices and laughter echoing out of my cabin. My cabin. At first, I thought maybe vandals had broken in. But when I stepped closer, I froze. Strangers were sitting on my porch, drinks in hand, acting like they owned the place. I stormed inside and found even more people playing cards, eating food, someone even lying across my couch with muddy boots. They all went silent the second they saw me. That's when I heard her voice. Karen. The HOA president. The self-appointed queen of the neighborhood. She came rushing out of the kitchen holding a glass of wine, looking just as shocked as I was, but not embarrassed. Oh no. Instead, she had the audacity to scream at me. What are you doing here? You can't just barge into a private gathering, she shouted, as if I was the intruder. I reminded her that this was my cabin, my property. But she didn't back down. Instead, she pulled out her phone and called the cops right in front of me, yelling into the receiver, "There's a man breaking into my home. Send someone right away." I couldn't believe it. She was actually trying to flip the script. The guests, turns out they were her friends, looked stunned too. Some of them whispered that they had rented the place from her for the weekend. My blood boiled. Within minutes, a sheriff's deputy pulled up. Karen rushed outside screaming, pointing at me, accusing me of trespassing. But I had already prepared myself. I calmly showed the officer my ID, my property deed, and the utility bills in my name. Karen's face turned pale as the deputy turned toward her. "Ma'am," he said sternly, "you're accusing the rightful owner of his own property. Do you realize what kind of crime this is?" Turns out, Karen had been running a little side hustle. She was renting out cabins she didn't own to her friends under the guise of exclusive HOA retreats. And she'd been pocketing the cash. The officer told me I had every right to press charges for trespassing, fraud, and unlawful use of my property. By the end of the night, Karen and her so-called guests were escorted off in police cars, while I finally got my cabin back. But the story didn't end there. A week later, the HOA board called an emergency meeting. With overwhelming votes, Karen was not only removed as president but banned from the HOA altogether. She lost everything, her position, her reputation, and her little scheme. And me? I spent that weekend right where I belonged, by the fire in my own cabin.